Welcome to the Karyn Reece Show. I'm psychic comedian Karyn Reece, and I'm with my co-host Alexa Zephia.
Hi guys.
So I love trivia like you do.
You know, we used to do it in college, like a friend group of ours. On the weekends, you know, we would go to the different restaurants and bars and things like that. I was terrible at it. I dragged the team down. Yeah, I dragged the team. I did. I dragged the team down. Ask me anything about reality television, I got you. Ask me about ancient history, I don't care.
What about Big Brother? Can you do something?
Big Brother? Oh yes, you asked.
Challenge. You can tell, but whatever.
Yeah. No, I was so bad at it. I was just going because for the social event part of it.
Well, you know, one thing about, trivia, it's a good way to open up conversations, keeps your, mental faculties going, gives you something to do when you're bored.
Right.
You know, it's kind of fun. And there's so many facts now.
Yeah.
And, can you imagine years ago with the internet, you have so much more, to access.
Honestly, what did people do without the internet? That's my question.
Well, they would go to bed at 6 o'clock and get up at 4 to milk.
That's my problem. I now this is so bad. I can't believe I'm admitting this on air. But in the middle of the night, I open, I wake up and I look at my phone and then I text. I know. And then I text in the middle of the night. My friend Carly responded to her text 2 in the morning because I saw it. I went to bed at 1:30 and I rolled over. That's bad habit.
It's bad habit. You like my text when I send them to you late at night?
She sends me one finger text and it's like reading Morse code. I don't know what she's saying. But talk about how synchronistic our brains are. Do I know how to decode your text now? So it's not a problem.
Well, see, there you go. You're already on your way up. You're already working in code. So I found a couple of funny ones. I know you found a couple of funny ones. So you probably don't remember. You weren't even born. But there's this incredible singer, Barry Manilow, big time in the 70s. And he wrote the hit, I Write the Songs. That was a big hit for him.
I write the songs that make the, yeah.
The only thing is it wasn't written by himself. What do you have as it does?
That's funny. That's a funny trivia fact. Okay, mine. High-heeled shoes were originally created for men. I have a problem with that. I'm 5 feet tall. So what do we use? Flats?
Yeah, that was way back.
We get gypped over here?
Exactly. Well, you wouldn't fit into those shoes. They'd be way too big for you.
No, flats?
Oh, no. Heels for men.
Oh, heels for men. Yeah.
I have another one.
Yes.
When do you think beer was made? And who do you think made beer?
The Irish?
Close. They drink it.
Yeah, well, they drink it, they should make it.
Well, the German make it. Yeah, well. Anyways, beer was made 5,000 years ago by the Egyptians.
Really? I just care about wine, honestly.
It's one of the oldest recipes in the world.
That's hilarious that you had that fact, that you chose that one, because we don't cook and you don't drink, so.
Oxymoron. Another trivia fact, so you're picking it up.
Guys, I'm so good at this. I should just go back to college and do trivia all over again.
What do you have?
Okay, this is gross. Many lipsticks contain fish scales.
That smells fishy.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's probably what gives you the shines. Maybe that's why women get those fish lips. You don't have to get any more injections. Be a lot easier. Or the bee sting. Never mind.
Oh my God, you're crazy.
Anyways, we had a really interesting show.
Yeah, we do. Of course, we have our Trending Now segment. And we also have some readings, because anywhere Karyn goes, spirit goes, so.
I guess liquid probably doesn't count, like this Egyptian one.
Well, for me, if it's wine, I'll take it. Beer, I could care less.
Well, I wine enough. How about you? You want some cheese with your wine?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Anyway, stay tuned for more from the Karyn Reece Show.
Are you exhausted, stressed, and overworked? Are you looking to rid yourself of the winter blues as we jump into spring? Be Well Massage and Aesthetics is the place for you. From the moment you walk in, you'll be greeted by the friendly staff, and the ambiance will make you feel comfortable and relaxed. You will receive top-of-the-line services using only the highest quality of products. They offer a variety of massage and aesthetic services that are uniquely tailored to fit your individual needs. When we came in to Be Well, we were ready to put self-care at the forefront as we treated ourselves to celebrate spring. From the moment we walked in to Be Well, the stress of the work week began to roll off of our shoulders. We knew we finally found the right place. We sat down with owner Brittany Frichtel and asked her to give us some insight on trends coming this season, including cupping therapy, which personally is one of my absolute favorites. Cupping is a massage technique that many professional athletes do to help with chronic muscle tension, reduce injury, and increase muscle recovery. They incorporate cupping therapy into their deep tissue massage upon request. They use a suction cup on specific areas in the muscle. This cup attaches right to the muscle, bringing fresh blood and oxygen to the muscle tissue. Fresh blood and oxygen to the muscle tissue help replenish the muscle and release toxins that are built up. Cupping is great for chronic muscle tension, and it also helps increase our range of motion. I walked into Be Well feeling tense and stiff. My shoulders especially were extremely tight, not only from stress, but also from different high-intensity workouts I do daily. After my cupping therapy, I felt rejuvenated, loose, and stress-free. An issue we hear nowadays is that people are always on their feet, whether it's at work, exercising, or just the daily tasks that life brings upon us, which causes chronic achy feet. We asked Brittany her thoughts on how to relieve this terrible pain. She recommended a frozen water bottle. The ice will help with any inflammation, and the stiffness of the bottle will help massage the fascia. Simply take a frozen water bottle from the freezer and roll it around on the bottom of your foot by stepping on it for a light massage. This is a great way to relieve tension. Are you looking to ride the self-care wave like we have? You can visit Be Well at their location at 5684 Main Street in the Village of Williamsville 14221. You can also call them at 716-276-3353.
Welcome back to the Karyn Reece Show. We are so excited to have our next guest with us. He was seen on Big Brother All-Stars this past season, and he made it in second place. He made it to the final two, and we are so excited to have Enzo Palumbo with us. Enzo, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Let's go.
One in our hearts and
yes,
souls.
you are, Enzo. You are our favorite.
Yes, you are definitely number one.
Congratulations on that. So out of all the people that you worked with, either your first season or this season on Big Brother, who was the one that actually surprised you when you got to know them? So different, like you thought they were one way and then you got to know them and they were totally different.
And on this past season, on this All-Star season?
First season or this one?
Let me see. The first season, I liked Lane a lot. Lane made me laugh. He was this big dude from Texas. And I was just like, I think me and him are going to bump heads. Like, we're going to bump heads. I'm from the East Coast. I don't think we're going to understand each other at all. And then I learned to just love the dude because he was just hilarious. He was hilarious. He was funny. So that was dope. I was like, all right, this kid from Texas, big kid from Texas. Now this season, who was it? I think a lot of the girls I liked a lot. I liked Danny. I didn't think I was going to really like Danny, and she was just hilarious. Even Nicole Frenzel, she was funny. Bailey was funny. A lot of the girls made me laugh. I didn't think Cody was that funny when I saw his first season, and then when hanging out with him, I thought he was hilarious. But I think I bring that out of people. Yeah. I think I bring that out of people, and I did that with him. So he was funny too. I mean, this All-Star season, there was a lot of people that I really liked. I don't know. My first season, I didn't feel that way. I felt like there was only a couple that I liked. This season, I genuinely liked everybody. Everybody was in their own way unique and funny to me.
Did you see Nicole Francis pregnant? Did you see that?
Yes, I seen that on Instagram. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I commented on it too. Yeah.
Yeah, on Instagram. That's so funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I had a great time with her too in that house. A lot of people got upset that I didn't get rid of her. They got upset at that, but I'm like, look, I was playing the game, you know?
Were you genuinely friends with Memphis, or was that all game talk?
I like Memphis too. I did, but I knew in my heart of hearts, I was like, this dude is blowing smoke, and he's not taking me to the final two. I know that. I really respected the way he played the game. I thought he was really smart. And then competition-wise, I was like, oh, I don't remember Memphis being this good at competitions from his season. I really respected his game plan. I was like, no, there's no way he could get to the final three or final four because it's going to hurt my game. So that's why I made the move. And I told Cody about the whole Wise Guys Part 2 thing and this and that. We got to get rid of Memphis. And then that's when we did it. Because Memphis didn't know that we were getting rid of him.
Right.
They didn't know.
Good for you.
It's so in. We got to get rid of him. Coming from a Jersey boy. Just saying. An Italian Jersey boy, no less. Are there cement boots around you? Just saying, you know. Anyway.
Gotta get rid of them. That's it.
Done.
Love it.
Done. Sleep with the fish. It's over. That's it. Bye.
It's so funny. Quick question for you. What life advice would you give based on your experience of having been on Big Brother?
Man, I like I said, you gotta have especially going on these type of shows, you gotta have thick skin. you're going to be a bullseye to anything. I mean, you're going to have haters, you're going to have fans that love you, but you're going to have people that just, you're under a microscope. So any little thing, like if you fart, if you this, if you burp, yeah, oh my God, he's disgusting. You're going to have just people just come at you from all angles. And you just gotta, like, you gotta just be secure of who you are. That's it. Just, you know who you are, and that's it. And you can't, like, you know, you just can't, what's the word? Like, you just can't, like, you know, you just can't care what people think of you, because you gotta, you know who you are. That's it, you know? So just have thick skin if you're ever gonna do these shows, because they're gonna throw you through the ringer, man. Definitely when you get out.
Actually, I think that's great advice for any,
Yeah.
situation, for any type of people. I think today too many people worry what other people worry, think about them. So I
Yeah.
think that's like just what you said, knowing yourself, being comfortable with who you are, and for those that love you, and for those that don't. That's great
Exactly.
advice.
I mean, that's it. It is what it is. You know, you can't please everybody. That's just life, no matter what. You know, you're always going to have people that just the vibe isn't there. That's it. Like we're not vibing, and that's it. It is what it is, you know?
Love
That's
it.
true. Well, Enzo, thank you so much for joining us. We were so excited to have you on. You were one of our favorites. Karyn predicted that you were going to be in the final two, so it was such a big deal to have you on. So thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Thank you. Welcome back to the Karyn Reece Show. So as we have said in previous weeks, that if you're looking to connect with Karyn, or a future prediction, or even a past loved one who has passed on the other side, you can do so by writing into our Facebook page, Karyn@KarynReece.com, by emailing us, or even on Twitter and Instagram @Karyn Reece. So we have a lucky winner with us today who wrote into our Facebook page looking for a reading and was chosen at random. So Sandy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. So Sandy, this is Karyn. Karyn, with anytime you're here, Spirit's here, so take it away.
Well, your spirits are very happy that you're here too. Who's got the May or June birthday? Passing her anniversary. Is that you? Who's got the May, June? I'm looking right at that month.
May,
Hey, you.
marriage.
Yep. I've got a husband coming in. You have a husband on the other side? Yes. Yep. Because he said right at the end. He says, I couldn't wait to see you. By the way, he's been bothering me all day. He says, Sandy, I'm okay and I love you. Do you know if there's an Ed, Fred, or Ted connection? Was it a friend of his? Was it somebody you're connected to? Eddie?
Oh, what?
The name Ed or Fred or Ted? Like an Ed, Edwards, Eddie?
Ed, Fred, Ted.
And a Joe he's talking about. He's kind of pointing to himself and pointing to you.
Joe is my older son.
Okay, that would make sense. Yep. And he says, I'm very proud of how Joe's becoming such a young man. Your husband said, Sandy, you're going to be okay, not to worry about a thing. He said, I'll still celebrate your birthday. I said, yep, your wife is going to be 21. He goes, you've got that. She's as beautiful as the day that I met you. And he said, I wish I could have stayed, longer. He says, but you're going to be fine. Also, your husband said, I do visit you a lot in your dreams. Also, your husband said something about New York City too. And he's got questions. What are you thinking about? Do you notice?
There's a lot about New York City. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
About staying, going, or coming, or going there back and forth. Yeah. And and were you thinking about going south, moving to Florida, or giving that some thought to it? Because that's what your husband said. Tell my wife that. And he says it's time to start thinking in terms of where you can enjoy yourself, where the weather's better, where everything just works easier for you. By the way, do your feet get cold a lot or something, or you like to get your feet rubbed? Because he's always telling me your feet are cold, and he likes to touch your feet when you're in bed. And he said, you're as beautiful as ever. He goes, you are the love of my life. He goes, Sandy, he goes, I know this is tough. And he says, but you can depend on Joe. You can depend on the kids. You have great kids, by the way, really good kids.
Good kids.
Where's the PA, like a Paul connection? Paula, PA, Pennsylvania.
I have a brother-in-law, Paul.
Oh, Paul. Yes, that's what I thought your husband was saying. Paul. He started spelling it. If you have any questions, your husband said you can always check with Paul on things. If you have something that maybe a little bit beyond, your scope, he said, or you need a second opinion, run it past Paul. Who was Mark? Was that a friend of his or your friend, Mark?
Mark is my other brother-in-law.
Okay, you can also check with Mark too, because he said, yeah, you can check with the men if you need some, help on some things that you need. He said to tell you, he said he's coming to you in your dreams a lot. So when you go to bed tonight, Sad, look at your husband's picture, keep telling him, I will remember seeing you. He said, look, I'm just out of my body. I'm still there. And he goes, we had great times. We had great great kids. He loves grandma, by the way. I'm like, why wouldn't you? She cooks and cleans for you. She takes good care of, your husband. But he loves to touch your feet a lot. Sometimes when you think of your husband, you're actually picking him up, psychically. As far as that's concerned, you must have been looking at pictures of him today because he says, I still listen to my wife. And when you give him the honey-do list every day, he says, I still listen. John, was that another friend of his, John?
John is my son-in-law.
Oh, you have a son-in-law? You're so young to be.
Aww.
Well, anyways, he says, you can always check with Johnny too. The boys will be there. You really have good people around you. Do you have a grandson yet?
Do I have what?
Do you have a grandson yet? Because I see a grandson.
I have 7 grandchildren.
Jesus, he just started showing me. Oh my God, you got to try.
So, yes, I have a few grandsons,
Yes.
3.
Who's the June connection? One of your grandkids have a birthday in June?
My son.
I did a son when I said that. I couldn't see him clear. He said, give him a big hug and a kiss and tell him happy birthday. So do we have an L, like an AL, like an Alexa, Ella, Bella? Is this grandchild? Gabriella, something like an Ella?
Gabriella is his grandchild.
This is really weird. I'm freaking out. Okay. So last couple readings ago, you were reading someone and you're like, what's the connection? Sand. She didn't know. Then you said it was yourself. Then you said, where is there an Ella, Gabriella? Do you remember that?
Oh my God, there was your husband waiting
He was coming in 2 readings ago.
He was trying to come in. That's him. He goes, oh my God, that is him. He said, yes, and yes. Oh, how funny. He's been stalking me all day. He said, I didn't want to miss my appointment. Tell my beautiful wife, I just couldn't wait. He says, I'd be in trouble with her. You never want to be in trouble with the boss. I go, you were raised well. He's been haunting me all day on and off. You're right. I did hear that. Mm-hmm. People sometimes do that. They get so excited as far as that's concerned. But your husband says you're going to be fine financially. You can always check in with the kids or with, John, Mark, or whoever else that, Paul, you've got enough support system. I will say your husband, he says, I got to be honest with you. I don't want you to be alone and I want you to have companionship, but I also have to admit I'll be very jealous. So, it's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, like, I'm so in love with my wife, but I don't want you to be, alone, till it's your time. Although when it's your time to cross, he'll be there and he'll take you to your house on the other side. What's up with the hair issue? Are you fussy about your hair? Is this one of the kids? Or wait, do you like to get a massage on your head or something? Or neck or something?
I loved his hair.
Oh.
So I, especially when he was passing, I was always doing his hair. I was always like with my hands in his hair.
That's what he's talking about because he goes, the hair, she knows what I'm talking about. When you did that, your husband said, Sandy, you made me feel so calm. Just your presence, I knew I can count on you. And he said, it just gave me a sense of I'm going to be okay. Because people sometimes get fearful. They don't know what to expect. But he said, as soon as I slipped out of my body, I was fine. They actually had a big party for him. He was greeted by his father and a bunch of other folks, so he wasn't alone. But by you doing that, he said, I just knew, even if I couldn't respond the way I would have liked to, that alone just reassured me that you were going to be okay. And that it gave him the ability to get peace of mind.
You knew his father. You said his father.
Yeah.
You knew he was on the other side, his father.
Oh, yeah. He said to say hello too. He says, you look beautiful as always, your father-in-law said. When at night, do you ever think of your husband and your feet? Because he's got a foot fetish on the other side.
All right. So there was a thing when my feet always get cold. And so I used to always take my feet and his body and his was always warm. So through the years, I would always take my cold feet when I got in bed and I was always put them over on his legs and he would go, ha! And he would always all the time, like it wasn't always, it was like all the time. So we would always laugh. I would always do that with my cold feet.
Well, just for the record, when you go to bed at night, he goes to bed with you. He can still feel your cold feet. It's just in a little bit of a different way where you can't warm yours up and he's laughing. I keep getting Florida with you too. So Florida's a good place for you. Were you thinking about buying property, owning property there?
Him and I were looking at Florida before he got sick.
Yep.
And so we were going to go down there. We had an area picked out.
Yeah.
And And then I was gonna go on a trip with my kids to Florida, but then it got squashed because of the pandemic. So we didn't go, and then we rescheduled it thinking the pandemic was gonna be over. So we still haven't made that trip that we scheduled so long ago. So it's the joke, like, okay, one of these days we're gonna get to Florida.
You see lights that are flickering, that's your husband. You know, he showed me the number 1, and now I'm seeing an 11. Who's got a November or who's on the 11th for birthday, passing, anniversary, and who's the January, who's on a first of any month?
So I always think of him when I see 1111.
That's what he says, 11. You know what that means, don't you? Numerology, those are the 2 pillars you walked on the way to heaven. It's a very high prominent number. That's why he says 11. And when you see those going forward, that'll be from your husband. And he said, so if you look, and when you see the number 1, 2, who's January? Was your mother January? I'm getting that usually it's a birthday or passing or an anniversary on a course of any month in January. And who's the Marie, M-A-R, or the Mary? Was that a grandmother or mother? He's talking about that.
Rosemary is my mother.
Okay.
Her birthday's in November.
Blonde. And I was going to ask you earlier, who's Rose?
My mother.
I'm still here though, correct?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. So tell her happy birthday from, I think your dad, your grandparents, your husband, obviously. And I was going to say, who's Rose earlier too? But that's interesting because she's also in the 11th month. So she's got a lot of heavenly energy around her. You know, Rosemary's a good lady. So she's always there for you. She's tough too. She's a cute little girl, your husband's side. My mother-in-law, she's adorable. She's tough, but you know, she runs circles around God. So you could tell your mother that's what your husband just said. He said, give her a big hug for me. I love your mother. You're just such a wonderful woman. You've got great days ahead of you. He says, enjoy yourself. Life will go fast. We'll be together again. This is just a short period of time. And again, you know, if you need something, check with the boys. He said, they're always there for you. And they're good, you know, good connections to talk to, good references. So, and I think he's going to try to short circuit a light tonight. So you might get a quick flicker. That'll be your husband. Anything electrical. Yeah, it might be like your TV blip for a minute because he does like to blink lights around you. And I think you've seen a couple.
I have.
Yeah, that's your husband.
Definitely. 100%.
Yeah. And the minute you think of that, yep, you light up his life, he said. But he says, who's David? Was that a friend of his? Dave?
Dave was a good friend. Yeah.
He says, make sure you tell Dave, give my best, tell the kids I love him. And he says, you could always talk to Dave as well if you need some help. You know, if you need plumbing or, you know, whatever, those types of things are good. He says, just check with them. Check with them first before you just, you know, get a second opinion. You know what I mean? Just don't, you know, they'll know. He says, Dave will know.
Always.
I want to thank you for being the best mother to my children and the best partner, the best lover, the best wife anybody could ever have. And he goes, we're still together. He says, Sandy, we still are. I'm just out of the physical.
If you would like to connect with Karyn, you can do so by visiting her website at www.karynreece.com, spelled KarynReece.com. You can also visit her on Facebook at Karyn Reece Psychic Medium or on Twitter and Instagram at Karyn Reece. You can also call our office phone at 716-580-2520. So, you know, it's funny because we were talking about trivia and how that was such a thing in college and, you know, Thursday nights and Friday nights and things like that. But there's still, even with everything going on and how we have to, you know, not see people right now, you can still do trivia just in a different, like virtually. People do, it's a big thing now.
Well, it's definitely fun too. I bet if they did more trivia with school kids, they probably would have more interaction too.
Yeah, I used to do that when teaching. I would do trivia all the time for like unit tests and things like that.
I would like to do trivia, but I would like to do it with money.
Oh, you want to gamble?
You know it. So can't get to the casino. Well, you can do casinos online, but that's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, no, but you can do Zoom trivia. A lot of people do like Zoom wine nights. We do that. My friend group does that. Zoom wine nights, and you can do you know, trivia night there. And there's actually like automated systems that actually generate different trivia, and you can like break up into teams, and it's
Probably
really
apps too.
yeah, different apps and things like that, and like different name generators that split you up randomly. It's really cool. Living in 2021 is a blessing, honestly.
Making lemonade out of lemons. That's all I can tell you. No, the
Truthfully.
trivia.
Do you want to no, another trivia? You're just like start listing trivia. We should do it. You'll win.
We'll bet for money. Yes, definitely.
You'll still win.
Well, yeah.
You want to suck me dry? That's what it is.
Well, listen, I know what you're doing when you're like, on your phone.
That's it. Anyway,
Anyways.
thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of The Karyn Reece Show.